Hello everyone, and welcome to a trash summary of Week 12 in the Overwatch League, plus the community MVP results from this week as well. Just gonna get right into it. Firstly, Seoul defeated the Hangzhou Spark 3-0. They won on Busan 2-0, Volskaya 3-2, and Dorado 3-1. This left Seoul's record at 3 wins and 0 losses of a map ratio of +9, and Hangzhou were left at 3 wins and 5 losses of a map ratio of -7, and the two teams will play again the next day for their next games. In the community MVP points, Fitz got the 3 points with his percentage of 64.7, Marvel got the 2 points with his percentage of 50, and Gesture got the 1 point with his percentage of 47.1. Seoul's positive was a huge map ratio boost because they hadn't lost a map up to this point now, and there were no main negatives coming out of this match. And it was the opposite for Hangzhou. They had no big positives coming out of this match, and their map ratio suffered even more because of this loss. Moving on to the next match. The Guangzhou Charge were defeated by the Shanghai Dragons 0-3. Shanghai won on Lijiang Tower 1-2, Volskaya 1-2, and Rialto 0-1. This left Guangzhou's record at 4 wins and 5 losses, with a map ratio of -6. And the Shanghai Dragons were left at 7 wins and 1 loss with a map ratio of +17. On to the MVP votes. Flirter got the 3 points with his percentage of 80.6. Lee Jae-gon got the 2 points with his percentage of 64.5. And Void got the 1 point with his percentage of 48.4. There were no outstanding positives here for Guangzhou, and their map ratio suffered even more. But for Shanghai, it was their 6th 3-0 win, and another match with no major negatives coming out of it. On to the next match of the day. New York defeated the Chengdu Hunters 3-0. They won on Oasis 2-0, Paris 2-0, and then Dorado 3-0. This left New York's record at 6 wins and 1 loss with a map ratio of +14, while Chengdu were left at 3 wins and 6 losses with a map ratio of -5. On to the community MVP votes. Jonak got the 3 points with his percentage of 70. Mano got the 2 points with his percentage of 60, and Hotbar got the 1 point with his percentage of 43.3. New York's main positive was it was a really strong return for them after 7 weeks of no playing, and there were no major negatives coming out of it. But for Chengdu, there were no major positives coming out of it, and they were outplayed quite easily by New York. It seemed like a cakewalk for New York, and they just demolished the Chengdu Hunters in this match. Moving on to the next match. The Atlanta Reign were defeated by the Philadelphia Fusion 0-3. The Fusion won on Nepal 0-2, Volskaya 4-6, and Rialto 4-5. This left the Atlanta Reign's record at 4 wins and 3 losses with a map ratio of +6, and after all the matches of the weekend had been played, Atlanta were in 7th. While the Philadelphia Fusion were left at 9 wins and 1 loss with a map ratio of +18, and after all the matches had been played, they were left in 1st. Moving on to the community MVP votes. Carpe got the 3 points with his percentage of 86.5. Alarm got the 2 points with his percentage of 59.5. And Funny Astro got the 1 point with his percentage of 35.1. Atlanta are not easy beats, and that's a major positive coming out of this match. But they clearly aren't at the top level just yet, also coming out of this match. While Philadelphia are 100% a top 3 team, this match basically confirmed it. I don't see how they can be out of the top 3 at this stage, and there were no major negatives coming out of this match for them. Moving on to the next match. The San Francisco Shock defeated the Los Angeles Valiant 3-0. They won on Ilios 2-0, Hanamura 4-3, and Route 66 3-2. This left the Shock's record at 5 wins and 2 losses, with a map ratio of +7, and after all the matches of the weekend had been finished, they were in 5th. While for the Valiant, they were left at 2 wins and 6 losses with a map ratio of -9, and after all the matches of the weekend had been finished, they were in 18th. On to the community MVP results. Choi Yobin got the 3 points with his percentage of 60. Moff got the 2 points with his percentage of 56.7, and Striker got the 1 point with his percentage of 50. For the Shock's main positive, they're definitely back to the 2019 championship form. They look really clean, and they just look plain dominant right now. And there were no main negatives coming out of this match for them. While for the Valiant, there were no big positives coming out of this match, and their negative is refusing to play May doesn't help because they didn't play Mei throughout this whole match, and they could have easily subbed in KSF to do it, but they just kept KSP and Shaxon for the whole match, and they never played Mei. And it was a very stupid decision in my opinion. On to the next match. The Hangzhou Spark defeated the Chengdu Hunters 3-1. Chengdu won Lijiang Tower 1-2, but then Hangzhou took Paris 3-2, Route 66 3-0, and Hollywood 3-0. This left Hangzhou's record at 4 wins and 5 losses, with a map ratio of -5, and this has left them 13th in the standings. While for Chengdu, this left them at 3 wins and 7 losses with a map ratio of -7, and this has left them 17th in the standings. Onto the community MVP results. Gooseway got the 3 points with his percentage of 70.4, Gillespie got the 2 points with his percentage of 63, and IDK got the 1 point with his percentage of 25.9. For Hangzhou's main positive, their win streak against Chengdu continues. Chengdu have never managed to beat Hangzhou, and looks like Hangzhou will be continuing that win streak. But the main negative is 3 of their 4 wins this season have been against the Chengdu Hunters, which shows an over-reliance on having to play them in my opinion. For Chengdu, there were no major positives coming out of this match, and the main negative is they just can't beat the Spark. And seeing how it's a team they're going to be playing a fair amount, they're going to need to eventually beat them and figure out a way that so they can beat them. On to the next match. The Shanghai Dragons defeated the Seoul Dynasty 3-0. They won on Oasis 2-0, Hanamura 2-1, and Rialto 1-0. This left Shanghai's record at 8 wins and 1 loss, with a map ratio of +20, and this has left them 2nd overall. While for Seoul, this has left them at 3 wins and 1 loss, with a map ratio of +6, which has left them 4th overall. Onto the community MVP votes. Lip got the 3 points with his percentage of 67.6, Fleta got the 2 points with his percentage of 61.8, and Fearless got the 1 point with his percentage of 52.9. Shanghai's main positive coming out of this match was that they were absolutely dominant against a team everyone expected them to come close with, but instead Shanghai just came out of nowhere and dominated the Seoul Dynasty, and there were no major negatives. While for Seoul, there were no major positives, and what didn't go wrong in this match? They were absolutely dominated when they were on Hanamura defense, and throughout this whole match, Shanghai just plain did so much better than them and dominated them in every aspect of the match. Moving on to the next match. The Guangzhou Charge were defeated by the New York Excelsior 0-3. They won on Busan 0-2, Paris 2-3, and Route 66 3-4. This left Guangzhou's record at 4 wins and 6 losses with a map ratio of -9, which left them 15th in the standings. While for New York, this left them at 7 wins and 1 loss with a map ratio of +17, and this has left them 3rd in the standings. Onto the community MVP results. Mano got the 3 points with his percentage of 69, Jonak got the 2 points with his percentage of 65.5, and Libero got the 1 point with his percentage of 37.9. The main positive for Guangzhou coming out of this match was that they did push New York at stages, but it wasn't enough to get them over the line on any of the maps. And their map ratio is suffering even more, as it's another 0-3 loss for them. While for New York, there were no main negatives, and the main positive coming out of this match is that they didn't lose a single map over their 2 return matches from this weekend. On to the next match. The Florida Mayhem defeated the Boston Uprising 3-0. They won on the PAL 2-0, Paris 1-0, and Dorado 3-2. This left Florida's record at 4 wins and 4 losses, with a map ratio of +1, and this left them 9th in the standings. While for Boston, this has left them at 1 win and 8 losses, with a map ratio of -19, which has left them 20th in the standings. On to the community MVP results. Yaki got the 3 points with his percentage of 61.3. Karayan got the 2 points with his percentage of 48.4, and Gangnam Jin got the 1 point with his percentage of 45.2. The huge positive coming out of this match for Florida was it was a record-setting win, as they had set the record for the fastest match in Overwatch League history, aka the fastest win in Overwatch League history as well. And there was no major negatives coming out of this match as well. while it was the opposite for Boston. There were no major positives coming out of this match, and it was their worst loss to date, primarily because they just lost in the fastest match in Overwatch League history, which is a huge humiliation. Moving on to the last match of the week, the Houston Outlaws were defeated by the Dallas Fuel 2-3. Dallas won Ilios 1-2. Houston took Volskaya 1-0. Dallas took Route 66 0-1. Houston took Eichenwald 3-2, and Dallas finished up the match by winning Oasis 1-2. This left Houston's record at 4 wins and 7 losses, with a map ratio of -6, and this left them 16th in the standings. While for Dallas, this left them at 3 wins and 4 losses with a map ratio of -3, and this has left them 14th in the standings. Onto the community MVP votes. Decay got the 3 points with his percentage of 74.3. Laze got the 2 points with his percentage of 42.9. And Doha got the 1 point with his percentage of 40. The main positive coming out of this match for Houston is there's been big improvement across the season so far. They used to be just playing terrible at the start of the season and they didn't look like they could win a game, but now they look really good and they just look a hell of a lot better than they used to. But the main negative is Muma really threw Route 66 there. When Dallas were attacking, he just got picked off so easily and they got him. Dallas killed him and it allowed them to kill the rest of Houston. Well, for Dallas, the main positive coming out of this is Texas is now theirs. They won the Battle of Texas, so Texas is theirs. But the negative is it looked like they weren't playing to the level they were in the shock match. So maybe they took this match a little bit lighter or something. So they shouldn't be doing this, in my opinion. They should constantly trying to keep themselves at that high level of gameplay. Moving on to the Overwatch League standings. Philadelphia Fusion are in first, up 1 spot from last week. Shanghai are in second, also up 1 spot. And New York are in third, also up 1 spot. Seoul are in fourth, down 3 spots. While the Shock are in fifth, up 1 spot. And the Spitfire in sixth, up 1 spot. The Rain are in seventh, down 2 spots. While Paris are in eighth, in the same spot as last week. Florida Mayhem are up 4 spots to 9th, while the Vancouver Titans are down 1 spot to 10th. The Glads are in 11th, down 1 spot from last week, while the Toronto Defiant remain in 12th. Hangzhou are up 1 spot to 13th, while Dallas are up 3 spots to 14th. The Charge are down 4 spots to 15th, while Houston are down 1 spot to 16th, and Chengdu are also down 1 spot to 17th. And then the Valiant remain in 18th, the Justice remain in 19th, and Boston remain in 20th. Moving on to the top 10 in the community MVP leaderboards. Carpe is in first on 27 points, the same spot as last week. Flitter is in second, also in the same spot as last week. He is on 20 points. Xe and Decay are tied on 15 points, tied in third spot. Xe is down 1 spot from last week, and Decay is up 2 spots. Jinmu is in fifth on 14 points, down 1 spot from last week. And tied in sixth is Shawfall and Lip, both on 12 points. Shawfall is down 1 spot from last week, and Lip is up 4 spots from last week. And tied in 8th, we have Corey, Dante, and Nero, all on 11 points, and they have all dropped 1 spot from last week. Moving on to the top 10 spots in each role, the top 10 DPS is the same as the top 10 overall. And if you guys want to read out the top 10 tanks or top 10 supports to yourselves, you can pause the video now and look at them. Huge thank you to the 46 people who voted in this week's community MVP poll. And a big thank you to everyone who watched the video, and please subscribe for more.